start to turn it around. If we all could love one another, all the world could be as one. Just take time to love one another, all the world could be as one. Black man, white man, standing together, no more fighting to be done. Yellow, red man, dancing together, all the world could be as one.
And welcome to Heal DC for Monday, April 8th, 2024. This is Joni. And good morning, Chuck Hicks.
Morning, Joni.
Glad to hear you. As we walk through this day, we're going to be having a solar eclipse. Make sure you have, if you're going to try to check it out, make sure you have those special classes. I understand it starts around 2:04 DC and goes to about 4:30. But be careful out there. Today, April 8th, the day before Paul Robeson's birthday, which we will be honoring him at the end of the program. I want to give a special shout out and lots of love to our own Magic Mike, who is usually there as the engineer with us on Mondays. He'll be back soon. He lost his dad last week, so we're sending him lots of love and appreciation for everything he does. And congratulations to the weekend folks who did a pledge drive over the weekend to raise money for our move. I am thrilled and very thankful to have joining us for at least the first half of the show, Harriet's Wildest Dreams. And we're going to introduce them in a moment. But Harriet's Wildest Dreams, definitely one of my favorite and the most important and inspiring organizations in DC these days. And then at the end of the show, we're going to be giving a shout out and tribute to Mama Dory, who's going to be having her memorial service homegoing this Saturday, 11 a.m. at Shiloh Baptist. We're going to be reading a special poem that was written in her honor. So with that said, we are very excited to welcome Harriet's Wildest Dreams, Nini and Qiana, and they're going to be talking about quite a number of things that have been going on in DC. So first, let me welcome them. I'm going to ask Nini and Qiana just to give a little bit about yourself before we jump into the issues and a little bit about Harriet's Wildest Dreams. Good morning, Nini.
Good morning, Joni. Thanks for having us. We always look forward to sharing space with our family here at WPFW.
And we're happy to have you.
Yeah, I'm Nini Teller. I'm the executive director of Harriet's Wildest Dreams and one of the co-founders.
I'm sorry. Yeah, just to tell people who don't know you what Harriet's Wildest Dreams is.
We're a Black-led abolitionist organization doing the work to dismantle the systems of all the systems of oppression that's actually holding our people down through state-sanctioned violence. And also we deal with intercommunity violence. And we do this work by a community defense hub where we support the work in community support with rapid response and protesting, legal empowerment, which Qiana can jump more into with that because Qiana holds that pillar for me. And also political education where we are educating our people because without knowledge, we won't have power.
Absolutely. And just real quick, tell us the names of some of your, I forget what you call it.
Our pillars?
Yes.
Yeah, so our pillars is the Hurt Responders, which does the community support and the ones that's out there protesting and doing mutual aid, just taking care of the community. Those are the Hurt Responders named after Harriet Tubman. And then we have Ida B. Wells, our Ida B. Free pillar, which is our legal empowerment pillar that does all the work to getting our people out of these prisons and keeping our people safe. And then we have Ella Baker, which is the LA Emancipators, where we do the work of politically educating our people in campaigns and policies that would better the movement and empower our Black people.
Very, very inspiring work that you do. Qiana, would you like to introduce yourself too? Welcome.
Hey,
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Qiana, and I am a co-conductor at Harriet's Wildest Dreams on the Ida B. Free Pillar. I'm also the founder and executive director of Life After Release, and I'm a proud member of the National Council of Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. And I come to the work because I am the work, right? Doing the work to make sure that our people who are formerly incarcerated or directly impacted by the criminal legal system are able to navigate that system and come out on the other side a better person, being able to actually get their needs met during that process. At Harriet's Wildest Dreams, we have a criminal legal defense hub where we actually work with individuals who are facing criminal charges in Washington, D.C., and help do court support with them, taking them to and from court, making sure that they understand their case, they can talk to their attorney. And we also do court watching, where we're actually watching the proceedings of courts to make sure and ensure that there is accountability in the courts. We did release our first report where we were talking about the issues around the Secure DC bills and how that affected and how that showed up in our court system. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much for being on with us today. I think this is your first time with us, so we're very excited. We have, Nini, quite a number of issues to run down. The Secure DC, what's happening with that so-called crime bill, Bowser's budget, the DC Council protests because they're not moving and not even willing to talk about a ceasefire. So, and then of course, Qiana's going to talk about the Black Mama bailout effort that's going to be doing a special events coming up soon. But Nini, do you want to start, or you both want to start maybe with Secure DC and what's up with that? Or wherever you want to start is fine.
That's fine. We can start with Secure DC, where we literally seeing that DC is not being secured, it's actually being a facade to the community. Before they even signed the bill, crime had started, the numbers had started going down. So the reality of what they're trying to secure is to keep gentrification and developers and Capitol Hill safe. That's what they're securing. They're securing capitalism. And so when we think about that, what does that look like? That look like they literally want a metropolitan police department to secure DC, when we literally just found out that they have sold several of the guns that's being found in these crime scenes. So is this really the people you all want to keep us safe? The ones who actually the people that's committing the alleged crime are using guns that's sold from the Metropolitan Police Department. So with that being said, the bill is just a facade, and it's to make people feel safe when they're not really safe. And actually just their laws that was already in place, and they just amplified and said, hey, look at us. We're going to do this now. We're going to do that now. Like the drug-free zones, the fair evasion, all of those were already on the books where people could be held accountable for committing majority of the laws that they just done. They already had laws on the book to hold people accountable. So it's just a basic, it's a circus. It's a sideshow to get people pumped up, but that's not really securing DC.
Absolutely. And it's also very effective in keeping people divided, which is another goal that they have. And we're not going to, we and other shows on WPFW have talked a lot about this crime bill, so-called crime bill. I was very impressed and excited to see the mobilization that came out to protest the crime bill, but they went ahead and passed it anyway. I think Qiana was the only one who abstained. Everybody else voted for it. So it's quite disturbing, some of the things that are in that bill. And of course, surprise, surprise, all of a sudden we see Maryland is doing the same thing with some of the exact same provisions. So obviously the ruling elite are talking about this together. So I was kind of surprised to see that's happening in Maryland as well. And it hasn't yet been passed. So people in Maryland, you can call the governor, tell them not to pass that bill where they're going to handcuff children and on. Just very, very concerning. So jumping from Secure DC, because we don't have that much time for each of these topics. I know, Nini, you were extremely upset, or rightfully so. You raised questions about the Bowser budget. She's cutting so many things. I think she's cutting the violence interrupters. She's cutting DC, the child care programs. So anything you want to add to your concerns about this budget that she has?
Yes, sure thing. I mean, reality is when you cutting the resources and the root of what actually can actually decrease crime, how are we securing DC? We're literally giving $500 million to a hockey team and basketball team, where you are trying to take money away from early education, the workers who barely make money. And actually you have to train a child the way they should go. And 9 times out of 10, even if that child stumbles, she knows the path, or he knows the path, right? But when you cutting programs that actually can help the community, how are we really securing DC? And she have to rob Peter to pay Paul due to the fact that they scaremongered her, thinking that they was going to take momentum from DC. When reality is they had a whole lot of laws with that. That momentum could not even probably do it without being held accountable in the legal system, because they signed the contract. So it's really sad, and we're going to fight some of these but some of the budget cuts, because don't take from the people that's already oppressed, and systems that can actually empower our people and make DC safer to give to capitalism and developers. It's just not okay. And a lot of people is upset with it. And so we're looking forward to going to some of the hearings and speaking up and trying, as we always do, keep community defense and fighting to keep our people safe.
Absolutely. And I believe she's even cutting rental assistance and on and on. Yeah, it's really...
It's a lot of programs that actually people are already oppressed, because the economy has got inflation has gone up. We can't. What a banana cost yesterday, 29 cents. You go to the 39 cent. You go in the grocery store. Banana is now 79 cents, 69. A can of string beans is $1.25. You know, like the food stamps not adding up. You know, they're not adding up, and so. Be careful what you're doing, because right now they're saying crime is down. But yeah, if you cut these programs, let's just know that poverty is a root cause of crime.
Absolutely. That's absolutely correct. And we're also proud because there are quite a number of community organizations working to support the young people, which is an important way of reducing crime. We're kind of running through these issues because Harriet's Wildest Dreams has half the hour. So we have more issues to cover. And one of those is the DC City Council's refusal to even discuss the ceasefire now resolution. And there's been a coalition of people led by a group called the DC Ceasefire Now Coalition that has been doing amazing protests at the DC City Council. People, I want to give a shout out to many of the people involved, and of course to our own Reverend Graylin Hagler, who helped to organize it as well. But Harriet's Wildest Dreams has been right there in the middle of it. And before I asked Needy to discuss it, we're going to play hopefully a little clip. Some of you may not have heard or seen these activists from our community very bravely and very brilliantly jumping up and disrupting the DC City Council hearings. And this one that we're going to hear a little bit with about 4 or 5 different activists as they're being pretty much dragged. That. Let's hear it.
We should not have to fight Democrats to divest from war.
Come on now.
People in DC need help. Need help. I am a Jewish resident of Ward 3. Pass the ceasefire resolution now!
My name is Marcel Salim. Israel murdered over 100 people in my family in Gaza. I am a DC resident. Call for a ceasefire. Condemn Israel.
As a person of faith and a religious leader, I need the council to call for a ceasefire. I was just in Palestine. Our DC taxation without representation is being used to fund genocide.
I'm a Ward 1 resident. I'm calling for a ceasefire resolution in DC. It protects human dignity, the sacredness of human life.
DC City Council said they do not entertain international issues, and in 2019 they need a bond to Israel for an MUA agreement for tourism.
We demand that you introduce a resolution to condemn the genocide that is happening, a resolution to end all DC taxpayers' money being used to enact the genocide.
I'm a Jewish resident of Ward 5. The JCRC does not speak for me. The ADL does not speak for me. 7 members of the World Central Kitchen killed yesterday trying to get into Gaza. Trying to get into Gaza to see millions of people who are going to starve to death, and you will do nothing about it.
And again, that was just last Tuesday, the DC City Council, DC residents being dragged out of the room for calling for the DC City Council to discuss a resolution. I want to thank Emily Siegel for sharing that with us, but Nini and Qiana too, to share with the listeners what that was like and what you did, Harriet's Wildest Dreams, to participate in a very inspiring protests which disrupted the DC City Council.
Yeah, first I want to say people, the community and constituents, they feel like the council, it's none of their business what's happening in Palestine, which is far from the truth. What DC constituents don't realize is that $15.6 million of their tax dollars money is paying for genocide and weapons to be actually used. DC is not a state, yet they are the highest government official that we have that can speak for us when it comes to Capitol Hill. And so when we say this, when this happened, when Israel, IDF first started attacking Palestine, the embassy literally came and sat at the council and had a meeting with a couple of the council members, Bill Mendelson being one that was attended that meeting. So you can't tell us, and then you lit the Wilson building blue in solidarity with Israel. So therefore you can't now say that, no, Israel and what's happening in Palestine is none of our business. When you actually have tax dollars that's committing that is contributing to get genocide, and you also have done resolutions for different other countries. When you stood in solidarity with South Africa for apartheid, you actually supported went against the war of Iraq, and you actually supporting Ukraine right now with Russia. So therefore, you're being complicit with the innocent lives of people being killed in Palestine, children and women included. And you have met with DC Palestinian constituents, your constituents, where we have one of our comrades who have had over 100 family members killed. And yet the council won't say anything, but yet we know you can say something. Just say ceasefire, stop killing innocent people.
Absolutely. And I think, Nini, repeat the fact that the DC spends $15.6 million a year to kill people in Gaza. Is that what you said? So
$15.6 million of DC tax money goes towards weapons and the actually war, imperialism. It does. Absolutely. So we are taxation without no representation. So even though you don't have any representation, you're a tax, and your tax money pays for imperialism.
Absolutely. And that 15.6 million, look at everything that could be given to the community with that 15.6.
All the things that our Martha agitator, Sophia said, housing, education, food, no, that's a real thing. That money can be divest. And so the council need to take a stand. And I want people to know that we did sit down and we talked to them. So this escalation didn't just say, hey, let's just go protest the council. Let's just meet Muriel Bowser everywhere she go. Let's go meet Phil Mendelssohn everywhere he at. No, people have sat down and asked. Harriet's Dreams actually wrote each council member asking for them to do a resolution because they don't have the power because they don't have a voice in Congress. A vote, but they can write a resolution and stand in solidarity with over 48 other cities who have actually over 50 now cities who have asked for a ceasefire.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you want to share anything about the meeting with Phil Mendelssohn. I saw a part of it. It was quite well, I don't know if it's shocking, but it was definitely upsetting to hear him say, what did he say? It was something like it's not important.
Basically, that's what he said. But now that he see that once he said it wasn't important and we turned up the heat, he's feeling the fire. And so right now, everybody's so scared to touch it because they don't want to be tagged as anti-Semitic, which is really, it's a touchy situation. We're not saying that the hostages in Israel are not important. Yes, they are important as well. No lives should be taken or held. But yet you don't get to keep killing civilians in spite of Hamas saying for them to free the Israel hostages. You're literally dropping bombs on innocent people. The World Kitchen tried to help the people with legally and take food over there, and you bombed 3 caravans, three vehicles. So that was intentional. It was intentional. Absolutely. You killed innocent people trying to just provide food to people who have nothing to eat.
Absolutely. And many of us know that it has nothing to do with so-called supporting Jews. It's anti-Semitic to be killing people in the name of Jewish people. That is what true anti-Semitism is. And again, it's the United States and Biden and the ruling elite that wants that control over that region. They could care less over a lot of these things they pretend that this is all about. In a minute, we're going to jump in and ask Qiana to talk about some of the things that she's working in. But Qiana, unless you have something you want to share about this particular issue of the money that's being spent to kill children, the DC taxpayers' money, $15.6 million, to kill those little babies and pregnant women, and it's just it's deeply disturbing, to put it mildly.
Yes, absolutely. The DC Council needs to absolutely call for a ceasefire and without delay. We have so many lives that have been lost and the money that's being spent. And Nene said it all. There's not much to say more outside of that. I just wanted to stand in solidarity with what she said around ensuring that DC Council calls for ceasefire immediately for our loved ones.
Yes, and I'll just say again, it was very inspiring, and I'm very proud of the organizers, including Harriet's Wildest Dreams and the others involved with the DC Ceasefire Coalition. Very inspiring to see them out there really standing up for the end to this genocide. So let's jump in, Qiana. Tell us what you're up to and tell us about this Black Mama Bailout program.
Yes. So each year we have a collective that comes together. It's the Free Black Mamas DMV, which consists of Harriet's Wildest Dreams, Life After Release. And we come together and we bail Black mothers out of jail, out of cages in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. While DC does not have a bail per se, we do identify DC residents who have been captured in other jurisdictions, and we bail them out and also provide them a wraparound support services, help them get to and from their court cases. We provide participatory defense for them to make sure that they are able to fight their cases. And I will say to today's date, we have a 98% rate of individuals whose cases are dropped. So that lets us know that the it's like a catch and release system where they're catching Black women, putting them in cages where they cannot afford bond, and they're, keeping them there for 2-3 months if they can't afford bond. We actually had cases where mothers gave birth in jail. And their case, we're still working on their cases. We have another situation where we bailed a 9-month pregnant woman out, and she gave birth 2 weeks after we bonded her out. If we did not bond her out, she would have absolutely have given birth in a cage. And so the work of Free Black Mamas is the Lord's work, like I like to say, because we're actually out here. Yeah, we're actually out here ensuring that we are getting Black mothers, and we do it all year round. Actually, we just make that awareness around Mother's Day to let folks know that we want to bring as many Black women home from cages to spend time with their children, and they shouldn't be there because they cannot afford their freedom.
Absolutely.
You're listening. I would like to jump in on that because right now they're doing it. Like Qiana said, the wraparound services is a real thing, because sometimes when we don't get to them fast enough, they have lost housing, they have lost their jobs. And so therefore we, Qiana, with the Ida Be Free pillar, Outer Wells pillar, we provide those services. So right now we actually have a GoFundMe where we are trying to raise funding so that we can be able to continue to do the wraparound services. So if people can go to bit.ly/
wait. We're not supposed to give out GoFundMe on the air, but
okay, yes. All right.
Is there another way that
if you visit Harriet's Wildest Dreams, follow Harriet's Wildest Dreams, you can you'll find out more about the work and how you can support the mothers that we actually are bailing out. And also, I would thank you for that, Joni, because I wasn't aware. But if you follow Harriet's Dreams on Instagram, you can find more about what we're doing and how you can support us with that work. And Qiana can actually talk about another event that we have before we start the work of Free Black Mamas. We have the Free Her Rally for for incarcerated women.
Absolutely. And let me just remind people, you're listening to WPFW 89.3 FM to Heal DC with me, Joni, and Chuck is also here with us. We're talking with Harriet's Wildest Dreams with Nini and Qiana for a few more minutes, and we're very thankful to have them on. So keep going, Nini. Tell us what's
I have a very important date for folks. I want folks to write down the date. On May the 11th, we will be having a Mommy and Me picnic in the park at Anacostia Park in collaboration with Free Black Mamas DMV, Harriet's Wildest Dreams, and the Black Mothers March. We will be collaborating this year, and we will be in Anacostia Park. We expect over 200 people to be in the park to hear what it is we need to talk about with our mamas. And we have that date coming up. So I wanted folks to put that date on the calendar. And also, like Nini said, to donate. If you want to volunteer, go to Harriet's Wildest Dreams so that you can volunteer with us for that event. And we are going to be having a community baby shower as well on May 18th. So please write those dates down. Please follow us on the Harriet's Wildest Dreams. And then last but not least, we have the Free Her March that is coming up. I'm a member of the National Council of Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. I am a formerly incarcerated woman. And as a member of this council, we will be coming together on April the 24th at 11 a.m. at Freedom Plaza, where we will be demanding yet again, it's the 10th year anniversary that we have been demanding the release of women that are in federal cages through through clemency and pardons, through governors, and particularly Biden, who has the power of a pen to release women who have been held in cages for 20, 30 years. And it's time for them to come home. And so we will be joining the National Council with Andrea James to demand yet again that our women, our loved ones who have been languishing in cages be released. Biden did release 11 people this year, but they were all men. There were no women on that roster to be released on his plan. So we are here to do that as well. So those are the two major things. And if you know anyone, one in four of us are affected by the criminal legal system or have been arrested or have served time. So there's someone listening who has a loved one or themselves that has been affected by the criminal legal system. Join us in our fight and join us in our organizing so that we can enhance the quality of our lives.
Wow, it's very important. If you can I'm going to ask you to stay for 2 or 3 more minutes just so we can repeat some of what you just said. No, you said well, let me ask you this question, Qiana. Do you know off the top of your head how many women, how many Black sisters are locked up in the DC area or nationally?
We are working on those numbers. We don't have the clear numbers. We're still getting those numbers back in. So I don't want to give anything because DC residents get shipped all across the country. And so it's hard to track our women down when their cases originated in DC, and then DC is not a state. So to find, the women that are actually the women that are our women from DC, it's been a little bit of a challenge, but we are working on that. We will have those numbers up soon by the rally.
Good. And when you mentioned the National Council, I think that was for, I'm not sure which event that was for, but which National Council were you referring to?
The National Council of Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. It's the National Council, and that was for the rally, the Free Her rally and march that's happening on April the 24th at 11 o'clock a.m. on Freedom Plaza.
And that is a Wednesday, I believe.
Yes.
And I'm going to urge Harriet's Wildest Dreams, if you can do a little recording of these two events, or we want to keep repeating it as we move closer to the April 24th date and the May 11th date, and also May 18th. So that's April 24th. Just one last time. Qiana, if you want to repeat those 3 dates. Wednesday, April 24th is at Freedom Plaza. We run them down again so we can remember them.
So we have April the 24th, Wednesday, April the 24th at 11 a.m. at Freedom Plaza is the 10th anniversary of the Free Her March on Washington that will be happening in Freedom Plaza. And then on May the 11th, we will be having the Mommy and Me picnic in Anacostia Park in conjunction with the Black Mothers March. And that will start at about 2 p.m. And then we also have our other event is a community baby shower that we will be having in Suitland, Maryland at May 18th. May 18th. We have the community baby shower in Suitland, Maryland.
Okay, and I think that's Malcolm X's weekend birthday. So that's April 24th, May 11th, and May 18th. And we're going to do the best we can to keep reminding our listeners of these very important dates. We are very proud of Harriet's Wildest Dreams, very inspiring. Nina, you have a last word, or Qiana, before we tell you goodbye for today?
Maybe just remember that we keep us safe.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And Qiana?
And to just follow Harriet's Dreams on Instagram and Twitter, just to stay up with the work, because the power is in the people. And as we build, we're going to need strength, and strength comes from people. So please get involved. As Trayon White say, just don't stand there, do something.
That's exactly right. And again, we're so thankful and happy that you could both be on with us today. And thank you, Qiana. Did you have a final word before we say bye for today?
We do this till we free us.
Absolutely. Again, Harriet's Wildest Dreams, we thank you for everything you do. You do things for all of us. We're all more free thanks to the work you do. So we look forward to having you on again soon. And keep hanging in there. We're going to keep being with you.